Imagine waking up tomorrow morning only to discover that one thing has disappeared from the world. Something we use every day, dozens of times without even thinking about it. Something that banks, airports, hospitals, and even the phone in your hand depend on. And in a single moment, the entire internet vanishes. So what would our lives look like afterward? And could modern civilization survive without it? In a single instant, the internet disappears from the entire world. Not just in one country, not just on one continent, but everywhere on Earth. Millions of people around the world are doing exactly the same thing. Everyone is restarting their devices, everyone is searching for answers, but no one can find one. And for the first time in decades, accessing information becomes far more difficult than you could imagine. No Google, no Wikipedia, no maps. Suddenly, humanity is pushed back into a world it thought had disappeared forever. Within just a few hours, critical industries begin to feel the impact. Airports, airlines, global booking systems, thousands of flights start being delayed or canceled. But what happens in airports is only the beginning, because the global economy depends on the internet far more than most people realize. Most of the money we use today isn't paper or coins, it's simply digital numbers moving between banks every second. And when the networks disappear, that movement suddenly stops. People rush to ATMs, but many of them don't work. Others can't verify account information. And that's when real fear begins to spread. After just one day, another problem starts to emerge. Stores can no longer order goods easily. Tracking systems stop working. And the supply chains that the entire world depends on begin to break down. But if you think the problem is only about money, think again. Modern hospitals rely on the internet for almost everything, from patient records to lab results and communication between departments. Suddenly, doctors are forced to return to paper files and handwritten notes. Hospitals won't completely stop functioning, but they will become much slower, and for some patients, every lost minute could be critical. Students face a different challenge. Online learning platforms disappear, digital lectures come to a halt, and millions of learners who depend on the internet find themselves in a completely new reality. Businesses won't be any better off. Many modern companies rely entirely on cloud services. And when those services vanish, thousands of businesses stop functioning almost overnight. The biggest impact may be on global supply chains. Nearly every shipment is tracked digitally. Every warehouse depends on connected systems. And when that network disappears, the world begins to lose its ability to organize itself. As the days pass, cities themselves begin to change. Not because electricity has disappeared, but because the smart systems that manage many services can no longer communicate as they once did. You might be wondering, what about satellites? The truth is that many of them would continue operating, but a large portion of the data we rely on every day would no longer reach its destination. After about a week, people begin to adapt. Some return to paper books. Traditional maps make a comeback, and many discover that old skills never completely disappeared. Strangely enough, some changes would be positive. Many people would spend more time with their families. Real-life interactions would begin replacing part of the digital communication that has dominated our lives. Children might discover a different world as well, a world filled with outdoor games and real adventures instead of screens that consume so many hours of their day. But don't misunderstand. Life wouldn't simply return to the 1990s. The modern world was built on the foundation of the internet, and its disappearance would create challenges humanity has never faced before. That's why the largest repair effort in human history would begin. Thousands of engineers and scientists would work day and night to restore the network that billions of people depend on. As time passes, adaptation becomes easier. Humans have an incredible ability to adjust. Even the greatest disasters in history have never stopped us from finding new solutions. And perhaps this scenario reveals something important about our lives. We don't rely on the internet simply because it's a technology. We rely on it because it has become part of the way the entire world functions. So the next time your internet stops working for a few minutes and you start feeling frustrated, remember that the modern world stands on an invisible network connecting billions of people together. And now here's the question I'd like you to think about. If the internet disappeared for an entire year, what would be the very first thing to change in your life? Write your answer in the comments.